Hey guys, welcome back. We have a midweek energy update to get into. Things are looking pretty fiery, pretty heated out there. This may be a week where people are just kind of having a hard time holding it all together. There is a bit of like crazy making energy going on out there, loose cannon energy, kind of spiraling out of control energy. Be careful in traffic. Be alert, pay good attention. A lot of people are not going to be paying attention. A lot of people are going to be very wrapped up in some emotional reaction to something that could have them very just like absent-minded in terms of what's going on right in front of them. So just something to be aware of. You might want to be just a little extra vigilant as we move through the week this week. We have Mercury entering the sign of Aries, but the first thing Mercury will do is come into a conjunction with Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries. This is not seeing things clearly. This is being dazed and confused. This is like a brain fog going on, or like just being absent-minded and not paying attention. Now this is in a trine to Mars at 29 degrees of the sign of Cancer, and also the moon transiting through Sagittarius is going to be hitting this trine as well. I'm telling you guys, people are going to be wrapped up in some perhaps like emotional drama that's going on and just not paying attention. So something to keep in mind as we do move through the midpoint of our week this week. Also, we have this ongoing stellium between Venus, Saturn, and the North Node in like an exact ongoing conjunction in the sign of Pisces. Endings and beginnings. There is something that is very clear to me based on the way that this energy is coming together about the times right now, and that is that for some reason there is no moving forward without letting go. We're in a very transitional time, sort of collectively, energetically right now, but there is a major emphasis here on like how progress cannot truly be made without some type of surrender, sacrifice, loss, release, moving on, letting go of something else from the past, perhaps something that has represented a significant measure of security, comfort, stability in some way. And we've got a lot going on, you guys. There's a ton to talk about. We've got a lot of information to get through in our report for the day. So let's just get into it, put all this together, see where we're at, what is going on, and how things may be playing out for us as we move through our week. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Wednesday, April 16th, 2025. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me until the end of this report, I have done a collective tarot reading for us today as well. I like to tap the energy field from more than one modality whenever I'm doing these energy overviews, just to get an alternative energetic perspective on what's going on out there. So there could be some messages in there for you. We will do that at the end. We got a lot of astrology to get into. If you guys have been following along with the astrology, I've been saying for this past couple weeks, I feel like we're at kind of a critical juncture right now. This entire month of April is speaking to, well, some big transitions, but also some like pressure and a lot of tension that is brewing. And I feel like the emotional tension that is present right now as we hit the midpoint of our week is actually going to continue to build as we head towards the weekend. I think that as a result, perhaps, of a lot of this tension and pressure that is present right now, many people could be reacting in kind of one of two different ways. On one hand, there are going to be people who are using this energy to really like redefine the way that their life is going to look going forward in a very like constructive, focused, channeled way. And then on the other hand, another group of people I think are going to sort of be succumbing to the pressure and trying to like escape and avoid what this time is, calling them maybe to step into, and really like spiraling out of control. A lot of people, I think, maybe to an extent losing it as we move through the week this week. There is just a lot of confusion, disorientation, detachment or disassociation from reality, irrationality that could perhaps be being like spoken of in this energy. And then we're like mixing it with a lot of energy and motivation and perhaps like aggression. Mars and Mercury and Neptune and the moon is the recipe that we're dealing in as we hit Wednesday. As we move into Thursday, the moon then continues to transit through Sagittarius and comes into an opposition with Jupiter, which is expanding this emotional energy even more. Now, Mercury and Neptune together in the first degree, the very first degree of Aries, this is also a sense of disorientation or delusion regarding the self. Very self-sacrificing on one hand, on the other hand, perhaps a very distorted sense of self. And then it's being trined very tightly by Mars at 29 degrees, this critical degree of the sign of Cancer. I do think that this is emotional energy that could be getting a bit out of control. Okay, and then the moon transiting through Sagittarius, the early degrees of Sagittarius, hitting that fire sign trine to Mercury and Neptune, hitting that trine in the last degree of Scorpio to Mars. Like I think, you guys, that things again could just be getting a little bit whipped up out there if there is not this measure of self-control and self-discipline that is being applied in equal measure. Okay, so it's just sort of my little interlude into what we're going to be talking about today. But I do think that things are getting very fired up out there. Now, it's interesting because with Mercury and Neptune and Mars, this can also be a more passive-aggressive energy. We're talking about Mercury and Mars in a trine, and Mercury's in Aries, like the sign ruled by Mars. This is very little restraint, okay, when it comes to what is coming out of our mouth. This could be talking a big game. This is very verbally aggressive, maybe like verbally hostile, conflict-oriented verbal energy. Now, on the other hand, you know, it can also just be a very, very energized mind, super inspired, super motivated, super perhaps focused, with the strong presence of the Saturn, Venus, North Node energy right now as well. That's why I'm saying, and I'm going to continue to say, and I've been feeling like, you know, this past week, maybe the week before, and the energy that we are definitely moving into as we move through the weekend and as we move into next week, to the same extent that things are like crumbling and being totally dismantled and just collapsing right now, there is also this extreme master builder energy that can produce like tremendous feats of labor, like mountain moving energy, the ability to refine and focus in order to build and form like new foundations through this like sheer power of the will in combination with a strengthened faith and vision, also equally indicated. But we are in times of great duality and polarization right now, you guys. We are going through a very transitional period of time, and things are kind of being pulled in like two separate directions. So we're probably going to see very polarized manifestations of the differing octaves of the potentials of this energy. But regardless, that being said, as I was saying a few minutes ago, I do feel like things are probably going to be very fired up this week with Mercury and Mars and the moon in Sagittarius coming into an opposition with Jupiter in a trine together. And then on Friday, actually, Mars leaves that very last critical degree, the 29th degree of the sign of Cancer, which is going to be a very emotionally volatile and reactive placement in and of itself, and move into the sign of Leo, where Mars will begin coming into an opposition with Pluto. Okay, so like this intensity is gearing up. Like even as I'm looking forward into the future, I'm just seeing at least the immediate future over this next week or two. I mean, we are heading into this weekend and moving into next week, a grand cross in fixed signs with Mars opposite Pluto and the sun opposite the black moon. Like that is gonna be I think it's going to represent in a lot of cases like an internal struggle to like conquer some aspects of maybe like our own darker selves somehow. Like there's some dimension of the shadows, or like subconscious programming, or like addiction, or like something like power, something to do with power, and what needs to be conquered or overcome in order to like take power back and be like released to like move forward, to grow in a more productive or beneficial way somehow. Like there's something, I don't know, just like, again, another one of these crucial crucial crosshair moments coming up here, at least from an energetic level, as we move this weekend and next week. And to go right along with that, we are also having Saturn in the conjunction with the North Node, which only comes around like once a decade. So that is another energy that is indicating some fated like implementation of control, or regaining of control, taking back control, being more responsible, being more mature, growing up somehow, like something that we need to step into. So I don't know, there could be something to do with slaying demons coming through here, inside, outside, I don't know, in the shadows over this next week or so. But it's definitely looking really intense out there the rest of the month of April. Feels like a bit of a firecracker, we could put it that way. And you know, as we move through the week, this week feels like a firecracker as well. Lots of energy, perhaps some short fuses, probably quite competitive. People probably gonna be competitive, probably gonna be aggressive, you know, not running from a fight, I would say. Although with the Neptune influence, again, this could be expressed in a very like passive aggressive, behind the scenes manipulation, like trying to pull puppet strings to create an outcome type of like display or manifestation of energy, in terms of that more like conflict oriented or competitive stuff as well. But people could very much be in some kind of attack mode this week to a much greater extent than you might normally see from that person. There is not a high level of rationality going along with this. As I said, Mercury and Neptune together, 0 degrees of sign of Aries. This on one hand, super self-sacrificing, super martyr energy, like willing to, you know, give it all up for some higher cause, or, you know, out of compassion or the good of all, or spiritual calling, you know what I mean? But on the other side of that energy, super like diluted in terms of the irrational, just absolute irrational responses to things, and like way over the top like actions or behaviors or something that could go on as a result of that. Confused, misinterpreting something, and just having this balls to the walls reaction and unclear understanding, leading to some type of total all-out war or battle. So something to keep in mind, you guys. Things could definitely get a little bit crazy here. This also could be abandonment that we could see as a manifestation, like neglect, abandonment, betrayal, just like totally trying to hide from or not address a situation as well. People could be losing it though, I think, in the midst of this pressure that could be going on right now. Be careful driving, as I was saying in my intro, you know, be careful driving, operating equipment. This is a super distracted energy. People are not paying attention, therefore it is going to be more accident prone. Be careful like commuting or in traffic. Also air travel, with it being Mercury, the messenger planet, with Neptune right now. I don't love it, okay? So kind of sketchy energy in that regard. I would say just make sure you're paying attention when you're out and about doing stuff, because most people are going to be focused on probably something entirely different, in some type of emotional place, we'll put it that way, and just really not paying attention to whatever's going on right in front of them. Also things to do with fire, blades, or water. Use care on or around water in this type of energy as well. Now On another side of things, I do think this would be a great, terrific, fantastic day for any type of water sports, swimming races, competitions on or around or having to do with water. Going to go great. Any babies born in this energy right now are going to be phenomenal swimmers. If you know someone who's having a baby right now, make sure they get them in swimming lessons, because they're going to be top of the line, top of the class in that. Also things to do with oceans, aquariums, submarines, things happening or with a focus on what is happening under the water may have some type of special presence or prominence or significance this week. This could also, with the Piscean themes, have to do with drugs or alcohol. Pharmaceuticals could be kind of like a trending topic or emerging theme right now that is just gaining more attention for some reason. Also things to do with oil. And another highlight of this energy, storytelling. This is, and I'll talk more about this in a minute, but this is excellent, excellent energy for any type of storytelling or creative writing. Going to probably have a very captivating impact on the audience. This is also like the fog and deception and narratives, dreams, hypnosis, and things to do with the unconscious mind or sleep somehow. Communication breakdowns or failures could cause things of like a more explosive nature to happen in this energy because of the way this trine is like playing out. Okay, we've got Mars and Mercury and Neptune. They're at 0 degrees of the sign of Aries in a trine with Mars at 0 degrees of the sign of Pisces. This is also, or Mars is not in Pisces. Mars is in the sign of Cancer. Mars at 29 degrees of a water sign, Mercury and Neptune together at 0 degrees of a fire sign. Mars is fire sign and being trined by the moon. Again, like, be careful. I just like this feels like a more accident prone energy, especially having to do with things related to water or things related to the air. So all of that. Now back to the storytelling side of things to do with fantasy, cinema, creative writing, storytelling. This is those things were made for energy like this, or probably in energy like this. It will be very persuasive and, as I said, very captivating to the audience. Amazing for projecting a fantasy that is just kind of like very mentally consuming, I think we can put it that way. And fantasy-based thinking, for better or worse in that same regard, is probably the vibe today. Excellent for working towards that ideal or that vision or that goal and like believing that you can do it. Incredibly like self-sacrificing, spiritually minded, and this is energy that is willing to like give up the short term for some type of long-term goal, long-term vision, long-term benefit. Now again, on the other hand, manipulation, dishonesty, a delusional self-perception or God complex driving actions, avoidance, escapism, abandonment could come with this. Also, another red flag day, I would say, unfortunately, for suicide. I'd be on suicide watch if you know people that struggle with that type of issue. This is energy that actively disconnects us from reality and also can trigger this sentiment of self-sacrifice. So just something to know, okay? Drugs and alcohol too, and also abuse and violence within the home and family could come with this also. To be completely honest with you guys, I don't love the energy of this week. It surely is purposeful. You know, there is a need for things to be playing out like this right now, but it's also just highly volatile and like conflict oriented and kind of like emotionally out of control. Whether it's again like the passive aggression or the overt aggression or like the neglect abandonment angle, or even just like verbal confrontations, like heated verbal battles and stuff like that. It just feels like not the most happy place, and no one's really in their right mind right now, and nobody's really seeing the situation clearly. But you know, with the moon in the sign of Sagittarius, the problem there is like that can cause us to think that we know the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and so therefore everybody else should say help me God, you know what I mean? So reactions and discipline could be quite severe in this energy. Probably not going to come to realize that until after the fact. People with the Sag moon are probably going to feel quite justified actually in their actions, coming from this place of thinking that they're in the right when in reality they're like totally off base somehow. So that is just, some things that we could see. A lot happening though, a lot is getting done, but there is just this sentiment of extreme tension that is building, or these powerful forces that are about to be colliding somehow as we do head towards that square that's coming in this weekend, and it's in the fixed signs. I mean, one thing that we can say about the square, considering that it is in these fixed signs, it is going to cause some type of movement, especially in things that have been stagnant for a long time. If there has been something that you haven't been able to get yourself out of, this coming up here and whatever manifests in accordance with it could be what really like shakes that loose somehow. But I don't know, it just is looking like a time where not the most fun time, I guess we could put it that way, but ultimately where we're going to grow up somehow, where we're going to rediscover a sense of self-empowerment and find out that maybe we could do things that we didn't think that we were capable of. So there's that. Now, in consideration of all of this, things could feel generally unreal as we are moving through the week this week, but there is a lot going on with a lot of moving parts probably, and things are being rearranged and moved around. We are, as I said, I think being severely challenged to grow in this energy, and there is this element of sacrifice, surrender, loss, the refining of things, the recognition perhaps of some authentic value, and maybe redefining our own personal values individually, that is also required as a part of whatever this struggle is that we maybe are moving through right now, or that we need to endure in order to move forward. It's super clear to me with that, those like these two situations going on. And also, it's not just that, we're also over this next couple of weeks having Uranus in an exact trine to the south node of the moon in the sign of Virgo. That's the only earth energy we have right now. Everything secure and foundational and stable, or at least the things that have been that way, are being destabilized right now. There are huge changes going on in terms of like the ground that we've been standing on, whether that be represented through money or financial things or material assets or relationships or partnerships, things that have represented, I think, stability and security in our lives for long periods of time, could be one of the areas that we are being required to surrender or let go of something in order actually to be able to progress and move forward into this new phase of life that is like simultaneously ushering us forward right now. Like, it kind of does feel like, there's no choice but to move forward, but we also can't move forward without having to like get rid of something that has been a part of our lives for a while, or release something, or let it go. All these same words that I keep using that mean the same things, but that's really like, it seems like that is one of the parts of this challenge, or this responsibility, or this maturity, or this even like downsizing, or re-exerting control over our lives, or taking power back, or something like that. Like, there is something that we've got to cut ourselves loose from, or else the next piece of the puzzle like can't come in. We can't truly like move forward in alignment with where we're supposed to be going and growing next. It's very obvious to me. I mean, we've got Mercury now in the sign of Aries with Neptune in the trine to Mars, but we've also got, and Mars is about to enter Leo and oppose Pluto, right? And the sun is in square. But then we've also got this conjunction of planets in the sign of Pisces with Venus, Saturn in the north node. Venus is like our material possessions, our relationships, our finances. With Saturn, this is a constriction in the north node there. There's like some faded like paring down that needs to happen in order to like remove the obstructions to our true growth that is being required right now for some reason. And the longer that we try to hold on to things that are leaving our lives, it seems, the more we delay our ability to progress and move forward. The path forward only comes about through letting go. Something has to be released in order to move ahead. And again, like with Venus, commitments, investments, partnerships, careers even. I think a lot of people are changing jobs right now, resources, assets, projects, friendships also. This could also be mindsets. This could be lifestyles, even like an image or an aesthetic or a taste or a preference or some type of an indulgence or addiction. Things have to be shifted, and we know that because of the Saturn Venus North Node situation in the end of Pisces, which is about letting go, coming to the end, 12th sign of the zodiac, breaking things down, fading away, transitioning. And also that same Uranus South Node energy. Uranus is the galactic fixer. Uranus puts things right, makes the changes for us that we haven't been able to make for ourselves, tries to facilitate things. The South Node is karmic endings in earth signs. That's the same exact thing. You guys see that? Like I talk about these repeating patterns, but like it's so obvious, like it's so there. The trine between Uranus and the South Node in earth signs, while Venus is ruling the position of Uranus and Mercury is ruling the position of the South Node. Mercury's in Aries in the trine to Mars. That's our forward progress. Neptune rules the sign of Pisces, where those planets are. The delays, the lack of clarity, like all of that is holding hands with whatever needs to come down right now. And also with both the South Node and Saturn, they are also the karmic planets, okay? Saturn and the North Node in their conjunction. This is a big deal energy that we've got coming in over this next couple weeks, defining largely the rest of this month of April, defining largely or one of the defining aspects of this entire 2025 year. And that is the Lord of Karma coming into an opposition with karmic release and coming into a conjunction with the destiny point. This is a time of extreme, and it's in the sign of Pisces again, which is the 12th sign of the zodiac. This is about release. This is about transition. Neptune ruling that energy just re-entered the sign of Aries. I'm telling you guys, like, and the things that we're letting go of now, you know, on an individual level, it could just be something that has been a part of our lives for a while, or that we have found comfort or security in, or that felt safe or stable to us in some way. Or it could be something that is very actually like generational and very karmic in nature. Maybe like a certain quote unquote like generational curse or something that has gone down through the lines, and like this is when it's coming to an end. Or a certain way of, you know, Mars also in the sign of Cancer, like this is relating to the action on the part of the family. Like there could a definite emphasis in this could have to do with the way that things have been, who's been in charge, what the authority and structure has required, some type of transition or change happening now, and some new foundation being laid that's going to determine how the legacies will play out moving forward. Very profound time of shifting power dynamics as well, very emphasized as we've got this Grand Cross fixed signs coming in this weekend as well with Saturn in the North Node. Like, these are definitely like whatever's playing out right now. It may not be, again, on the surface. Remember, we've got so much Piscean energy. This is casting illusions over everything. Uranus also brings blessings in disguise. Like things are not truly as they seem. This energy is also about like the short term, like pain for long-term gain type of vibe, like the surrender and the sacrifice now for what will be, what can be, and what can grow if we like perform that, you know, procedure or surgery, like while this point in time is coming together. Like this is the time that it needs to happen for some reason, to remove blockages to growth that really like unlock the future potential of something that is the course that we are being redirected towards, and things need to go in a certain way in order for that to happen. But the actual experience of it may be just very, you know, tense, heated, and there could be just a lot of volatility going on, and it could, I don't know, just not be the best feeling time out there. But you know, again, like there are two very distinct paths here. This is classic energy for chasing our dreams, but it also could be pipe dreams, right? And the differentiating factor here is going to be either the implementation of or the disregard of self-discipline, with Saturn and Mars having been in a trine together in these water signs, and Saturn with the North Node. Self-discipline, self-control, or the lack of that, I really do think are the key to everything. And you know, what our experience of it is going to be like as we do move into this energy, being able to like hold ourselves together and keep pushing ahead when everyone and everything else is just falling apart and crumbling around us. We can be the master and the constructor and the designer of our own reality and our own path forward through this careful, focused use of energy channeled towards a goal, you know, personal responsibility, personal accountability, sustained and consistent effort, and faith in the vision. Okay, even when appearances may not be matching what we know can come to be, that is the recipe. Okay, but it's also the hard path. That is like the house made from bricks, you know, like the Three Little Pigs story. It's the, again, like the short-term pain for the long-term gain scenario. Now, the easy path on the other side of that is going to be allowing the irrational thoughts and ideas and the emotions, the heightened emotional energy associated with what's going on right now and these situations that may be disguised as truth, or that we may be misinterpreting somehow to like send us spiraling out of control or get us all whipped up in the frenzy of emotional energy, acting out, unleashing our rage on things, or also just straight up deciding to avoid maybe the challenges or the duties or the responsibilities that are being presented to us or placed on us right now, in favor of kind of just like disconnecting from the reality. We've got gains and losses both represented in this energy, and it's going to depend, I think, on like our ability to move through things in a more self-disciplined, self-controlled way, or to allow ourselves to get carried away by the way that these emotional currents are hitting us. Mercury and Neptune in Aries, trine Mars in Cancer, about to move into Leo. Like, we can regain our sense of self in some very significant ways here, like we've never experienced, literally. Or we could just lose ourselves altogether and need to go on some quest, hero's journey perhaps, to regain that sense of self as we move forward over the course of this next couple of months. So even though it might feel really extra difficult right now, you guys, I do recommend doing your best to follow through on the things you set out to do. If you can, you know, stay on your schedule and your routine, stay grounded to the best of your ability, build structure into your life to the greatest extent you can. Don't, you know, put tons of pressure on yourself, because there's already a lot of pressure going on out there. But the more grounded and self-regulating that we can be in this energy, the better I think we're going to be able to stay on track in terms of getting to where we really want to go and aligning with our goals. Even if it feels like really impossible this week, which it may really be difficult with the Mercury, Neptune. Again, we may just feel slow, have like a hard time paying attention, very distracted by things, very emotional. But we need to be like self-contained if we can be, and try not to get sucked into like the greater public reactions and public responses to things that could be going on out there as well. I don't know why I'm, you know, because I'm recording this video on, what is it, April 11th, so several days before this video is going to be coming out on the 16th. But I don't know what's going to be going on then, but I just feel like there could be, in this type of energy, like certain public like responses or outcries or events, and I just think that it is better maybe not to get involved in that type of stuff in energy such as this. Staying focused on yourself and on your family is a better use of your energy in this energy. So that's what I have to say today, you guys, about the way that this astrology is looking to me. These are, again, you know, these critical it just seems like some critical times. There could be some significant events playing out there, and there is this divine timing element of it too. Things are purposeful, as I keep saying, even if we don't necessarily see or understand what that purpose is in this energy right now. Now, we've got a tarot reading that we need to get to today as well. It is really interesting, actually, because the cards that we had coming out in the tarot, look at this. These are our cards that we're working with today. We've got the Devil and the Queen of Swords with the Two of Swords in between. That's, I feel like there's something, it's like the devil and the angel on the shoulder type of energy could be going on. That's one way that this could manifest. This is also, I feel like, some very decisive action, perhaps, to set ourselves free or cut ourselves free from something. This could also be representing a very fierce, like, confrontation that is going on between the truth and between deception or illusion, and being caught in between perhaps those, and not being able to accurately discern like what the like genuine truth is that will actually empower us, and what the thing disguised as the truth is, which will actually enslave us. A need maybe to take some very, very decisive action in order to free and liberate ourselves and stand in our power about something. This could be triumph. This could be slaying something, overcoming some type of temptation. Again, like breaking addictions. We've got all of these swords here to perhaps like slice through some of these karmic bonds, again, that may have been keeping us in karmic cycles of, I don't know, some type of self-sabotage, or keeping us disempowered to something. The sword energy also has to do with the mind and our thoughts, has to do with communication, it has to do with truth. I don't know, there could be some preaching going on out there which is setting us free, or that is having an impact that liberates us on some level. But this is definitely like the truth will set you free energy. We got the Queen of Swords. That is like full discernment. That is like full clarity and the power of, you know, information, the power of truth, the power of understanding. Then we've got the Two of Swords, indecision, a blind choice, not knowing what to do or not being able to see clearly, with Mercury and Neptune there. And then we've got the Devil, which is temptation, which is, and this also makes me think of that square that we have coming up that I was also talking about as throughout the course of this video. We've got the Black Moon and Pluto involved, and then we've got Mars in Leo and the Sun in Taurus, fixed energy. Pluto in the sign of Aquarius also. Like, I don't know, you guys, but this could be coming to a point of like informational power somehow that helps us to overcome something, to combat something, to liberate ourselves from something, to conquer something. Again, like I was saying at another point in the video, like conquering demons might be something that is somehow relevant as we move into the next couple weeks. And that's what it's looking like to me. It looks like perhaps, you know, some temptation, some old challenge, some thing that maybe we've struggled with in the past, or that maybe has held us back in the past, or kept us trapped, or kept us confused, or kept us blinded, or kept us enslaved, or kept us contained, but coming to a point of some type of clarity, some type of self-empowerment based in information perhaps, or something that we're learning, something like that, that is putting us in a position of power over that which may have held power over us in the past. So we'll see how it goes, you guys. That's what I'm seeing there, though. I'm going to get us one more card now, a synchronicity card. God, Spirit, Universe, what is one final piece of guidance or advice that can help us on our way this week, that we should keep in mind, that we should tell ourselves? It says trust, you guys. Trust. Trust also in Him, Psalm 37:5. Trust in God to lead you to the person you need to fulfill your needs. Make certain you are the type of person that person would wish to associate with. Make certain you have defined your needs and desires before you make your request. Remember, all things are possible through God. Endings and beginnings right now, you guys. There may, as I was saying earlier, like, the way forward may require some type of release, some type of loss, some type of ending, but it is literally to align us with something that is going to support the next leg of our journey somehow, like something that is vital to the way that we're moving forward. And this self-discipline dimension of things as well. If we don't have control over anything that's going on in the world around us or our lives in any type of way, the one thing that we do have an ability to maintain a level of control over is our mind, is our body, is the lifestyle choices that we are making, and how that is contributing to exactly what this card says, making certain that we are the type of person that, you know, the person that will fulfill our needs that we are in the process of aligning with right now also needs, you know what I mean? So we, like, a part of this, Saturn and the North Node together in the sign of Pisces, opposite the South Node in Virgo, a huge part of this is upgrading like ourselves, our body, our day-to-day lives, our lifestyles, how we're caring for ourselves, what we're eating, just the effort and the energy that we're putting into our own physical vessel. That is one of the things that is both requiring change, and also that is requiring discipline as we go through this upgrade process right now as well. So we are actually being made into not only like who we are meant to become at this point in time, but also into who the people that, you know, we are meant to associate with now and going forward need to assist them in becoming who they're meant to become. You know, it's mutual. Everything's being sort of like, as I keep saying, it's like the pieces are being taken off the board and rearranged right now in a way that is going to actually like unlock the ability for a lot of things to become better, stronger, smarter, more efficient, more capable, more productive, more, you know, resourceful, more abundant, going forward, more fulfilling, exactly like this says. So remember, guys, all things are possible through God, Great Spirit, universe, our connection to our higher selves, however you interpret your relationship with cosmic consciousness. This is what we got. Trust in the situation and work to cultivate yourself in that regard. And one last thing that I want to say before I close this video down, I forgot to tell you guys the Sabian symbol associated with the sun on Wednesday. It's literally like one of my favorite Sabians out of all of them. It's for 27 degrees of Aries. That Sabian symbol is through imagination, a lost opportunity is regained. And with, again, the way that we have this energy coming together, Neptune also does rule the imagination, the dream, the vision, and the moon transiting through Sagittarius, coming into the opposition with Jupiter. This could also truly be representing along the lines of the reconstructing our reality octave of the way the energy plays out, a true opportunity to maybe regain some old opportunities. And along those lines, as I was saying, like regain a greater sense of self, and with that regain perhaps some lost opportunities or things that we felt were lost for or on or to us in the past as a result, you know, perhaps of these shifts and our ability to be inspired and to open ourselves up to possibilities right now as well, because endless possibilities are as much a potential in this energy as that which is breaking down, falling apart, and being released. So that is, I needed to like add that little bit on there, and that's what I have to say for my video today, you guys. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys, share it with your friends if you think they would also enjoy or benefit from this type of astrology content. Leave me comments, you guys. So grateful for your presence on my channel. Let me know if you have things going on with you out there that are reflective of what I'm talking about in these videos. That's very valuable information to me, and I am, you know, super grateful, truly value, as I said, your presence here. So let me know if you got stuff like this going on. Drop me a comment if you want to know what's on this whiteboard. I have a Facebook group linked in my description box below where I post the full images of those boards. So if you want to see the whole board, that's where you can find that. If you like my bracelets, you guys, they're from the jewelry company Otter. They make these beautiful crystal jewelry bracelets, and if you want some, if you're into that type of thing, I have a 20% off link in my description box below, and I also have a promo code for 20% off, so you can get 20% off crystal gemstone jewelry at Otter Spirit. And let me know also, I'm wearing today morganite, celestite, and I have this selenite bracelet on as well. I like love selenite. These are some of my favorites. I just felt like they were kind of a good match for the energy that I was talking about today. Let me know what you guys are wearing in this energy, and come back with me on Friday. You guys, we have a weekend video to get into. Things are getting embroiled. It's a pressure cooker out there, and yeah, I'll be back to talk all about it. So you don't want to miss it. Come back with me on Friday, you guys. I will see you then. Have a beautiful mid part of your week. And until next time, bye guys.